What is going on, guys? How are we doing today? Today is my first full day in Scotland. I've just travelled outside of the city of Glasgow to come track down an old psychiatric hospital. I'm in the village of Hartwood, so if any of you know Hartwood, you probably know what I'm looking for. Yep, Hartwood Hospital. This place looks sick, and it's like, I've seen a lot of photos of this place over the years. It's nice when you finally, you know, like come face to face with something and see it for yourself. Yeah, I'm impressed. There's clock towers, everything. Strange area this. I've literally just got off the train and this place is literally like right here. It's like 5-minute walk, if that, from the train. So yeah, let's go check this place out. Hartwood Hospital was recently used in the filming of the latest Batman movie. This was used to used as a set for Gotham Asylum, which you can see why they did that. It's wow. Very cool place. So as I approach, I can see fences, spiked fencing for now, so let's hope there's going to be a way in for me. Well, I found my way in, guys. Always circle the perimeter, because most of the time, or more often than likely, you'll find someone's made a hole in the fence for you. Thank you, whoever's done this. Spot on. Saves me climbing. Welcome to Hartwood Hospital, guys. The Lanarkshire County Lunatic Asylum opened its doors in 1895 in Hartwood near Shotts. Described as a self-sufficient and secure hospital for the mentally deficient. The first patients that arrived here were from workhouses. These poor people had been kept for too long in a completely unsuitable environment, and most arrived in a very poor state of physical health. Patients ranged from age 10 to 80 and included people who were mentally handicapped, as well as those with mental health issues such as melancholy and hysteria. Dr. Clark, the asylum's first physician, took a very different stance to care than was common at the time. Rather than punish and deprive those that were unable, he prescribed fresh air, clean surroundings, nourishing food, mental stimulation, and, of course, acts of what was considered kindness. I kind of have a feeling that I'm not going to get into the buildings. From what I see, everything looks to be sealed with, you know, metal sheeting. It's one of them. I'm not going to be overly disappointed if I can't get in, because there might not be a lot to see in there anyway. But just being here is cool enough for now. The building. The hospital blocks were constructed in a diverse plan to accommodate increasing specialisation in the care of psychiatric patients, with a main building block with central towers and side wings. The industrialisation of the surrounding area boosted the local population, and resident numbers rose accordingly, reaching 960 by 1913. The expansion required more building, and another local architect, James Lockhead, was commissioned to build more wards and other buildings. A sanatorium in 1904, a new reception block in 1916, and a male staff hostel in 1936. The largest and only remaining one of these was the nurses' home accommodation, built from 1926 and opened in 1931. Most of the buildings were linked by glazed enclosed external walkways to control the movement of patients around the site. By the mid-1950s, Hartwood Hospital was a fully independent site which had created a hospital village with a variety of facilities, including a bowling green, an arcade of shops and a dance hall. The hospital had its own cemetery in which 1,255 former patients were interred. Hartwood was the largest asylum in Europe, housing 2,500 residents. The introduction of the 1990 Community Care Act resulted in psychiatric care moving to the community and the subsequent redundancy of the Hartwood Hospital buildings. For the most of its history, until the formation of the NHS in 1948, the hospital housed mainly pauper patients, where the parochial boards paid for their upkeep, varying from the pauper rate of £58 a year, depending on the accommodation, care and service required for each individual. So just remember the fact about this place is, this was the asylum that performed the first lobotomies in Scotland, and they also used electroshock therapy here. As was the case with many similar facilities in the 19th century, Hartwood Hospital had its dark side. It went down in history as the first place in Scotland to perform lobotomies, procedures that turned fully grown human beings into shells of their former selves. Electroshock therapy was also frequently used, as was seclusion. Scientific knowledge of the human brain at the time was rather primitive, and many practices were carried out differently to how they would be today. You know, when you come to these places, as cool as it is for us being here in the future and that, like wandering around these really grand buildings and being taken away by it, and it's like a cool adventure and that, you've always got to remember the people that actually suffered here, that, you know, spent their lives here for reasons sometimes when they shouldn't have really belonged here at all. You could end up here for reasons such as having depression or anxiety, postnatal depression. A lot of asylums in the UK, you could end up there from just being homeless, being a vagrant. So yeah, people really had some bad times here. And there was a lot of brutality and nasty things, awful experiments that went on. It's raining now. Kind of fits the mood. Let's carry on. It's getting some lovely shots around here. Very foreboding place, this. I guess these asylums always were though, weren't they? Right, I reckon it's pretty much time to hit this joint, guys, and we're gonna have a walk back down towards the station and visit the nurses' quarters, Hartwood Nurses Home. See if what's going on there. Looking forward to it. I hope you guys are too. But I did spot this. It looks like a bridge. Whoa, it is a bridge. Stairs. Oh, stairs. Let's see if we can cross it. There would have been stairs here. Stay on the sides. Safest. It's not in bad nick. And it's actually got modern, you know, grippy floor on with yellow paint at the sides. So I wonder where this came from. Here's some more stairs. Thought I heard someone. Thought I heard a voice. Oh well. Stairs. Oh, this floor is a bit. And that's stairs, that's like the landing bits where it turns 90 degrees. Cool. Oh, liking this. Check out the bridge. Nice. Right, we're out of here. It's raining again. you've seen what there is to see of Hartwood Hospital. I hope you've enjoyed that. I certainly did. It's nice to finally see the old place in person. As I say, I've seen photos of this on the internet for some years now. Yeah, what a cool place. I'll get back to you then. I'll get back to you when we get to the nurse's home. I might have to find some shelter if this rain gets anywhere. Right, in a bit, guys. Almost stopped raining, and I dare say it's maybe brightening up. It's meant to be an alright day, I think, eventually. So as I was leaving Hartwood Hospital behind, kind of you know, seeing some bits and bobs about sort of like power boxes and that, made me think, and where the nurse's home also, where that's located, made me think that these places were huge complexes, often the size of a village. They were self-sufficient. They would you know, farm their own crops. This place had its own power station, amongst many other things. So you realise that this whole place, from here to the nurse's home, is all the complex. There will have been multiple buildings everywhere. Self-sufficiency. Hartwood Hospital had its own library, surgery, dispensary, butchery, dairy, bakery, shop and workshops, and there was also agricultural land used for growing produce. There was a ballroom for musical entertainment, now a residence lounge, and underground vaults. Right, I've just arrived at the nurse's home. This is a big building. Patients lived in either the female or male wards and worked on the farm or in the kitchen and laundry. The complex had its own spring-fed reservoir to provide a water supply. The site was connected to the nearby Shotts railway line to Glasgow, but the private sidings were eventually closed a few years later. 1,255 paupers are buried in a graveyard near to the railway. Check this out, guys. Right, what's even cooler? What's said about the whole place being a complex? There. That's the 2 clock towers where I've just been at the asylum. Yeah, look at this. Very cool. Don't reckon, once again, I don't think I'll get into this place. We'll have a quick walk of the perimeter. Diagnosis and therapy. During the early years, patients were admitted from the local area and were paid for by the parochial county boards. Patients were admitted with a range of diagnoses, including psychosis, depression, and anxiety disorders. Terms that were still evolving in the clinical language. Like many hospitals of this era, it also housed people with long-term learning disabilities and elderly people with dementia. Fresh air therapy was just one of the range of holistic treatments used. The optimism of this modern era was clear in the efforts devoted to holistic treatment and occupational health. From its opening, a hospital farm was established in the grounds to provide open-air activity for patients in their recovery stages and to supply the kitchens. Arts and crafts were encouraged, and many homes still to this day house weave-woven stools made by the patients. Yep, got a way in. Always check the perimeter, always check the perimeter, I say. Don't know how well you can see them, there's two towers up there, but it's really great view from here. Whoa, this is pretty grand. Facilities. The modernising of mental hospitals affected not just medical treatment, but encouraged greater focus on occupation and entertainment. By the mid-1930s, mental hospitals across Scotland had cinemas, hosted dances and sports clubs as part of an effort to make the entertainment and occupation a central part of recovery and rehabilitation, and Hartwood was no exception. Nice grand entrance there. Look at stonework. At the centre of Hartwood Hospital was a large hall, located on the first floor, an ornate and formal entertainment space which could accommodate 1,200 people for musical performances and dances. Mental hospitals appear to us today in a state of ghostly dereliction, after years of neglect and a generation of bad press. But behind these images lies a history that is rich in everyday efforts to make institutional life more livable. In the early years of operation, each ward had fresh flowers and a supply of books that was changed every fortnight. It was not unusual for mental hospitals during this era to have their own sports teams, education departments, and art and music classes. With mental health continuing to receive more attention than ever before, perhaps Hartwood's history of care and community help can guide further treatment. Really am just soaking up the silence and the atmosphere. I don't think there's much talking to be said, it's just hopefully the footage speaks for itself. Hopefully this building speaks for itself. Removing the stigma. Looking at the bricks and mortar doesn't really tell us what life was like for individuals living in these institutions, and everyone's story and experiences are different. The stigma that many people still feel surrounds mental health issues may in part be due to the way people have been treated in the past, from being chained up in prison-like conditions to being held in remote, out-of-town asylums, out of sight, out of mind, and then many buried in remote, unmarked graves like the 1,255 in this cemetery. So, for this reason, we must remember them all, raise awareness of mental health, and improve everyone's well-being. Right, this has been Hartwood Hospital and Hartwood Nurses Home. I hope you've enjoyed this. I certainly have. It's been a good start to the trip. Right, that's it guys, on to the next. See you in a bit, bye. Yeah, I've left the Hartwood Hospital behind and Hartwood Nurses Home. There's best guesses as it always is with me.
You know me, I'm a real Scottish man. See, Glasgow people, they're all daubers. We're the real men, countrymen.